like washed out jeans, pink Fred Perry polo with the collar popped. My hair was like short with the front like gelled down to the side and spiky back. It was bad. It was not a good look.
Hello, my name is Paul Mescal and I'm going to be doing a lookbook with British Esquire, and this is a journey of my fashion so far.
So this was custom Gucci and Cartier for the Oscars. It's, I don't know, I think it's my favorite look that I've ever got the privilege to wear. Felicity K, my wonderful stylist, worked like incredibly hard on this. And I remember, I think we did 3 or 4 fittings on it, or maybe more. And just like the kind of detail that went into like the length of the jacket and the wide leg trousers. And I think I was going to LA. I'm gonna sound like whatever Casablanca was on. I chose to watch that on the plane to like hurt my own feelings. And Humphrey Bogart, that kind of like famous white jacket, saw that, and that kind of started the conversation with Felicity. But it was really something to kind of behold, to see like seeing people operating at the kind of like top of their game and working really hard to put this together. Role models of like male fashion, like James Dean, Brando, Humphrey Bogart, Paul Newman. It seems innately classic to me, and I enjoy that. Just the way they expressed their sense of being in the clothes that they wore, but also that they kind of were able to do it effortlessly, which is the desire, but hard to achieve, I think. The experience on the red carpet is, it feels like you're going out to play a big match, like a sport or a sporting event. You're kind of in this like tunnel with like loads of really famous people, and you're seeing them all like checking their looks, and then you suddenly go out and it's incredibly bright and there's lots of people screaming. But I went with my mum, so I could see her at the other end of like the bank of photographers. But I don't think I've ever experienced anything quite like the size or the I mean, it's one of the most kind of most eyes in the world on a certain event at any one time, so it definitely feels like that inside it, I think. So here we have Callum and Sophie from Aftersun, and you've got that like late 90s aesthetic that I love. One of the things that Frank, our costume designer, a conversation that I had with him and Charlotte, our director, was like trying to get so that it felt authentic, that you see the same, like, you know, when you're packing for a holiday for a week, you pack a certain amount of t-shirts and a certain amount of trousers and everything in between, but that you're not seeing lots of new items all the time. It's all those kind of intangible, like subtle details that just, you know, when you see a film and something just takes you out because it doesn't feel accurate. And I think Frank did such a wonderful job at just making sure everything, I think it was all just vintage shopping and making sure that they were authentically from that time. I really wanted to take the, Callum wears like a yellow, like kind of jumper, and there was 2 tones of yellow essentially. One in the collar was a little bit darker and the cuffs were a little bit darker, but I wasn't allowed to. Aftersun in general is a job that like there's loads of memories that are like crystallized by the day that we shot the rave sequence at the end of the film. It was during the like forest fires in Turkey, and it was like 47 degrees. We were shooting in this like makeshift studio that was actually like a glass house, like an old vegetable factory. So it was unbearably hot. But those are the kind of things that I think, like, even though that's a very uncomfortable position to be in, it really, I think, filled out those moments, because you're seeing like actors and characters kind of meshing together and just trying to like survive minute to minute to minute. So, and also just the kind of love that myself and Frankie and Charlotte built over 2 months. And I think it's not a common experience for me. I think that was a really special job and a difficult one to walk away from. So here we've got Connells Chain. What more can possibly be said that hasn't been said about this chain? I don't know. Just became this like absolutely bananas conversation that I suppose it's like symbolic of like what audiences sometimes like just like latch onto as a as something that is of interest. My emotional attachment to it is probably actually quite strong in that it became symbolic, or like you would just attach the chain to Connell as a character. That character absolutely changed my life. But yeah, as a teenager, there was just lots of like sportswear. It was all kind of practical clothing, I think. I went to a school disco, 6th class, wearing like washed out jeans and a pink Fred Perry polo with a, oh, it was so bad. It was a pink Fred Perry polo with the collar popped. And do you remember the brand Mackenzie? Yeah, one of those like hoodies over the top. And then my hair was like, there's definitely a photo of this somewhere, but my hair was like short with the front like gelled down to the side and spiky back. It was bad. It was not a good look.
Yeah, this was right smack bang in the middle of normal people coming out. Clearly, I didn't know that this was what would be happening, or I don't know if I would have dressed any different, because that's how I like to dress in the summer. This jacket was a vintage jacket. I can't remember what the name of the brand was, but they do a cool thing where they like patch old vintage pieces together. Then I paired it with my Gaelic football shorts from my club at home, the Maynooth GAA, Stan Smiths, and a bottle of Krabbies and prawn cocktail crisps. It's a full look. Yeah, and Ray-Bans. Because you just end up feeling paranoid the minute you leave the house, even if there's nobody there. So you feel like a massive egotist or something. It's just a weird adjustment. And then I think I saw somebody, my sister sent me a video of people talking about these vintage shorts, which they are not. They're just Gaelic football shorts, to be clear. Yeah. My negative relationship to being photographed on the street has nothing to do with actually the Twitter discussion. It's just, there's something primal that goes off in me when some asshole is taking a photograph of you on the street without you knowing. It makes me feel violent. Or something, there's just something that goes like, I can't really describe it. And normally the people who do it, or almost, I would say 99% of my experiences with ever meeting somebody who does, like if they come up to you and they're like, can we just take a photo? Like if they're a paparazzi, they're normally nasty people in my experience. This was for the British Fashion Awards. And I remember trying this Gucci look on in LA. I think this was 2021 or 22. And I think this would have been, at that point, probably the look that was maybe the most out there. I remember seeing it on a hanger and I was like, I don't think that's gonna be for me. And then trying it on, I was like, okay, I loved it. I loved the Gucci like deconstructed dicky bow and just the like salmon, like kind of sheer shirt underneath. And then the Cloche de Cartier watch, I think it had just launched that year. And I was very pleased with myself that evening. Although the pose on the red carpet is disturbing me. It's, I think I've said this before in interviews, actually Ridley Scott has taught me what to do, and I don't think I did it well in this photo, where you walk to your mark and then lean back on one foot, and I feel like I'm caught between two minds here. Becoming adventurous with style is maybe subjective, but I think it comes from maybe a growing confidence that like when the photos come out, you don't like die at the other end of it. But I think it's just kind of figuring out who I am a little bit. I feel like when I started out, like 4 or 5 years ago, that side of things was something that caused great anxiety, and now it's something that I'm just enjoying more, and it's another opportunity to express. And also it's just, I found that with Felicity and with Gucci and Cartier in particular, there is a kind of sense of collaboration because they know me
4 years down the line. So yeah, probably that has contributed. Here we have, again, 2 looks in Gucci and pieces with Cartier. These watches to me just feel so timeless, and actually Cartier very kindly, this watch that I'm wearing on the left or in the black suit, they dated on the back of it the first screening of Aftersun on the back of it. So that watch in particular means a great deal to me. I'm not fully a watch guy. I'm a watch guy at like going to things. I find them difficult to wear on like a day-to-day basis just because I didn't grow up wearing them, and there's something about like going out to an event or when you feel like you're dressing up and you put a watch on, it just feels more special to me.
Yeah, so here's the man himself, Russell Crowe, Gladiator. Are you not entertained moment? I've never done like a period piece like this before, and to kind of step into a world that is already so iconic and kind of an aesthetic that is so iconic is both incredibly exciting and incredibly daunting at the same time. I feel like it goes without saying that like if you're playing a gladiator, you've got to be like fit and strong, but I think a film like Gladiator is different because to me it's not a superhero film where half that gig is, to my mind, just getting big and strong. This is like, Russell had to be strong in this because it makes sense for his character, and I think that there is way more interesting questions and conversations to be had about films like this rather than how many calories did you eat in a day, which I'm convinced is always, whenever you hear somebody saying they ate 7,000 calories in a day, I think they're lying. But yeah, it's been really interesting. It's not something I've done before, but I love my trainer. It's starting to get addictive. Big boots to fill for sure.
Thank you so much for watching. That was Lookbook for British Esquire.